assembler, understood as software that translates assembler source code into machine code, can be implemented in various ways. While the processor's instructions remain constant, other language elements may be implementation-specific. In this video, we present the most important language elements specific to MASM assembly implementation. Let's start with an alphabet. An alphabet is a set of characters which can be used in writing programs. In MASM, they include small and capital letters, digits, hidden characters, and special characters. Special characters may have a defined meaning, and not all of them can be used freely in a program. Comma separates the operands. Apostrophe and quotation marks are text delimiters, and underline is used instead of space in symbolic names. Semicolon begins the command, while colon delimits the label. A dot is used in some directives, and at begins some predefined names. The question mark represents an uninitialized value. Some characters are used in expressions to calculate addresses or some constant values. Square brackets are used in address expressions. In general, they represent indirect addressing. The dollar sign is the actual value of the location counter. Plus, minus, asterisk and slash are mathematical operators. They can be used with round brackets to perform assembly time calculations. The equal sign is the directive used to define constants. There are special characters used in macros. We will talk more about them in the video about macros. The ampersand is used to replace the name of an argument with its actual value. Percent is an expansion operator. It calculates the expression provided instead of simple text replacement. Angle brackets are text delimiters. Hidden characters organize the source code, separate lines, symbols, and improve readability. In any programming language, there are words defined which have special meaning, known as reserved words or keywords. In MASM, they represent elements of the language defined by MASM creators, and their use is reserved for special purposes, only including instructions, directives, attributes, operators, and predefined symbols. They can't be used as label names, variable names, constant names, and similar user-defined items. Symbolic names are words defined by the programmer, used for identifying elements of the program. They are used to name constants, variables, addresses, segments, and other items of the source code. Certain specific rules must be followed when creating the symbolic name. Symbolic name can't begin with a digit and can consist of letters, digits, and 4 special characters: dollar, at, underline, and question sign. Uppercase and lowercase letters are treated as the same, and only the first 31 characters are recognized. Operators are used in expressions calculating during assembly. They enable performing arithmetic and logic calculations with numeric expressions and address expressions. Some operators are associated with macros or other specific elements of assembler language. Constants in an assembler program define the name for the value that can't be changed during normal program execution. It is the assembly time assignment of the value and its name. Constant can be numeric, an integer or a floating point. Constant can also be a text string. The variable represents the memory address in the data section of a program. Its most important attribute is the size expressed in bytes. Variable definition directives allow you to distinguish between floating point and integer data, specify the size of data in bytes, and define arrays. Note that the assembler doesn't perform any type checking when using these variables, although the size of the defined variable affects the size of the instruction's operand, and the resizing operator is sometimes required in case of the operator sizes mismatch. Directives, also referred to as pseudo-operations, influence the behavior of the MASM program. They can create the segments, define variables, constants, and other symbolic names, reserve memory, establish connections between the modules, provide conditional and repeated code, define macros, and so on. Programs in modern 64-bit operating systems are divided into code and data sections. To start the code section, the .code directive is used. The code section contains all instructions in a program. To identify the beginning of the data section, the .data directive is used. The data section contains all the variables used in a program. We mentioned that the $sign represents the current value of the location counter. The location counter is an internal variable maintained by the assembler to assign addresses to program items. During assembly, it performs a similar role as the instruction pointer during program execution. It contains the address of the currently processed variable in a data section and the instruction in a code section. Any directive which starts a section defines a new location counter and sets it to 0. If the same section is continued in another place in the program, the location counter increments continuously throughout the whole section. Assembling subsequent bytes increases the content of the location counter by 1. All the mentioned elements form the statements. Statements in assembler programs written in MASM are the lines of code composing the source files. Each MASM statement specifies an instruction for the processor or a directive for the assembler. Statements have up to 4 fields. Name specifies the name of the program line. This can serve as a label for the instruction, allowing other instructions to refer to it by name. Some directives also require naming, specifying a variable, type, constant, segment, macro, procedure, and other element of the source file. Operation. This is the main element which defines the action of the statement. This can be an instruction for the processor or an assembler directive. Operands. This field depends on the operation. Some operations do not accept operands. Some require a list of one or more operands. Operands are also referred to as arguments. Comment. This field starts with a semicolon. Comment is for documentation purposes and is ignored by the assembler. Good comments make it easier to understand and maintain the program. All fields in a statement are optional. A statement can be composed of a label only, and that with a colon, an operation only, if it doesn't require operands, or a comment only.